The Fuji x100v is a great camera and I loved bringing it with me on vacations or even using it as an everyday carry camera, but I sold it for this setup instead. The Fuji x100v was one of the most popular cameras of 2023. Almost every retailer was sold out of it, and I even bought mine at above MSRP. I think I paid like 18 and change for it, but regardless, I ended up selling it. This video is my opinions only and what works best for what I need. I loved using the x100v just to shoot JPEGs. I didn't have to then import into my computer or my phone and edit in Lightroom, so it was really, really great for just social media sharing. However, I'm primarily a Sony shooter. My main camera for my photography business is a Sony a7 IV, and this past fall, Sony ended up releasing a bunch of new cameras, one of them being the Sony a7C Mark II. The guts of this camera is pretty much the Sony a7 IV, which I love using. It's probably my favorite camera that I've ever owned or used. It's easy to shoot photos, videos. It's a great hybrid camera all around. I also needed a second camera body for my photography business. I'm going to be shooting a wedding next year, so I really needed two camera bodies. And just if something happens to my main camera, I have something to fall back on. Knock on wood, please don't let anything happen to it. So I ended up going with the Sony a7C Mark II and this little Sony 35mm f1.8 lens. Now, this setup is only a little bit bigger or bulkier and heavier than when I was using the Fuji x100v. The Fuji x100v weighs 16.9 ounces or 478 grams, but it had a fixed lens which was at f2.0. It was great, but it's also an APS-C camera, which there's nothing wrong with that. I just prefer a full frame camera, and I really wanted my work to be consistent across the board. The Sony a7C Mark II, which I'm filming on right now, with the Tamron 17-28 lens, it's a great setup. I use it for pretty much all of my YouTube talking headshots like this. The camera itself, without the lens, weighs 18.1 ounces or 541. So it's not than the Fuji setup, but then, and I mainly use this Sony 35mm f1.8 lens on the camera as my everyday carry camera or just to take on vacations, not for doing YouTube. This lens weighs 9.9 ounces or 280 grams. So put this on the camera, now the camera's gonna weigh 28 ounces or 821.5 grams. So it's significantly heavier and only slightly bigger, but in my opinion, the image quality is a lot better. It's better in low light, the bokeh is better, depth of field is a little bit better. I just prefer it. And once again, these are my opinions only. You may have a completely different opinion, and that's okay too. Most of my work is for professional photography, family shoots, or portrait sessions, and many of my clients like to print out their work, some even blowing the prints up quite large. I mainly bought the Fuji x100v because of all the hype all around YouTube, social media. Everyone was just raving about how good the camera is, what you can do with it, and I absolutely loved messing with the film emulations, and it is a great camera. But I was afraid of FOMO. I didn't want to miss out, so I ended up paying way above retail for the camera just to end up selling it and losing money. So the point is, don't buy something because of all the hype or other people raving about it. Do your research. If you have something that already works for you, just use that setup. I had something that already worked for me, and I ended up going for it anyway, which I now regret, but like I said, I did enjoy using the camera. Instead of just going off of hype and buying new gear, rent it first, borrow it from a friend, at least get your hands on it and try it out. See if it's really what you want. Don't do what I did and lose money. Don't forget, guys, follow me on social media. Instagram, Vero, I follow back and I do respond to comments or questions. And thank you guys for watching. See you guys on the next one.